So welcome back to the discussion. Yesterday we completed the Jnana section, which ends at 2:30, but we discussed from 2:26. After Krishna establishes that the soul is eternal and he gives the qualities of the souls and distinguishes from body, then Krishna gives the materialistic argument that even if you think that the soul is born with the body and it dies, still you need not lament, and you perform your duty. So we mentioned, Krishna is here emphasizing orthopraxy, P-A-R-X-Y, it is, sorry, then orthodoxy, even if you don't accept the doctrine. But of course, Arjuna accepts it, but from a materialistic point, he argues this. And then two verses, how jatasya hi dhruvam mrityu, dhruvam janma mrityasya. One who's born, he dies, and one who dies, he'll be born. So there is no, not you cannot avoid it. So that's why don't lament, fight. And the living entities are manifest, unmanifest in the beginning, manifest in the middle, and unmanifest again. So that's why Tatra ka paridehana. Again, don't lament. And then, although he's been taught, but still Ashcharya, he's completely amazed by this description. Yes, the soul is really amazing. Those who see or hear about the soul, they are amazed. Those who speak also, they are amazed. And even after speaking, also, they cannot realize it. That's why it is, such an amazing thing. And then these three things, uh, they understand in different ways, that is, the jiva as a material entity or body. And then there is a conscious entity, which is not eternal, and it is only one soul, Advaita. That is the Jadvada, the Anitya Chaitanyavad, and the Kaivalavad, Kaival Advaitvada. And then he concludes, Dehi Nitya Avadyoyam Dehe Sarvasya Bharata Tasmat Sarvani Bhutani Natvam Sochitum Arasi. And then what he wants me to do? Krishna wants Arjuna to fight. So this verse and the next verse. Now he speaks from a little, higher level, karma kanda. You know, it is the first application of Atman. Of course, we are not this body, but until or we are the spirit soul, but until we realize we the spirit soul, then there is a natural progression which happens. So the first application is karma kanda. Fight by doing a prescribed use, you'll enjoy. That is karma kanda. So this is the first we saw, and we saw this swadharmam api chaveksha na vikumpatam dharma di yudyat shreyanyat kshatriyasya na vidyate. And yesterday we spoke about it, that there are two types of swadharma. There is the subtle body has a swabhava, and this swabhava is directed by the Vedas for fruitive results, karma kanda. Uh, but the swabhava directed by Vedas for self-realization, that is detached action, is Nishkama Karma Yoga. That will lead to, realizing the self. But there is a swabhava of the soul, which is, the Jaiva Dharma or Bhakti Yoga, by which we can realize directly the absolute truth. By, Nishkam Karma Yoga, first you become self-realized. Atma Gyan, you will get Atma Gyan, that is, Gyan Yoga. And then by practicing Jnana Yoga, you can liberate the soul or Ashtanga Yoga like that. And then ultimately, the highest yoga is Bhakti Yoga. So there is a direct systematic progression happening from Nishkam Karma Yoga to Jnana Yoga to Ashtanga Yoga, which is the first six chapters. And middle six chapters will be Bhakti Yoga, like that. And then he mentions that this war has come on its own. Swargadvaram apavritam. And the Kshatriyas are happy when such a war comes. They very enthusiastically participate in such wars. So you should be happy that. And then another argument, he knows that Kshatriya have their ego. If you don't, first of all, you will get pap, hitva papam avapsi, and then your kirti. People will speak about it. And for a person who's famous, it is, for him, it is worse than dishonor, is worse than death. That's what he says. And then you might run away from the battlefield, but you might leave the battlefield out of compassion, but they will think out of fear, and they will, you know, you're such highly regarded, then it become completely Bhutva yasasi lagamam. Now it will become completely insignificant. And then they will speak ill, unspeakable words. Oh, Arjuna is a coward, he's a eunuch, like that, criticizing. And this will be tato dukkataram kim. So he's just playing with his ego here now. So that's where we ended yesterday. So now we'll continue our discussion from text 37. हतो वा प्राप्स्यसि स्वर्गं जित्वा भा मोक्ष्यसि महिम् तस्मादुत्तिष्ठ कौन्तेय युद्धाय कृतनिश्चय. Being killed, you will attain heaven. Hato va prapsasi swargam. Because this is a dharma yuddha. If you are killed, then you will attain swarga. Being victorious, you will enjoy the earth. Jitva va bhokshasi mahim. Therefore, Tasmad, rise, O son of Kunti, Uttishta Kaunteya, and fight with determination. Yudhyaya Kritanishya. So, this fighting is done. The basic motivation for the fight is, 1 minute, let me connect my. Kritanishchaya, Yudhyaya Kritanishchaya is what Krishna is saying here. With determination, fight. Why? Because if you die, you'll attain heaven. And if win, you know, you'll enjoy earth. So this is the motivation is desire or enjoyment, both ways, even if you die or you win. So here you can see, if you remember Arjuna's indecision, why he ultimately surrendered to Krishna, because he was not able to decide. That was in 2:6. It was a lose-lose situation. So what was that lose-lose situation, What was Arjuna's, in his consciousness? He was going through a very lose-lose situation, that both ways I'm going to lose. So what was that? Anyone remembers? Which we discussed just maybe 2, 3 classes before. 2 classes or 3 classes before. 2 classes, I guess. Anyone remembers? Raise your hands. Let us see. Parampara Prabhuji. Yes.
Prabhuji, in 2.6, Arjuna says that he is in ambition because he has to kill
Can you
Bhishma
speak
and
a little loudly?
yes, Prabhuji, can you repeat
Yeah,
it
yeah,
again?
now it's better.
Yeah, so Arjuna says that he has to kill Bhishma and Drona
Uh,
and all his relatives on the other side, and that's why he is in indecision because that will lead to him killing his own family members, and then how can he enjoy the kingdom without his relatives?
that argument is it. But the indecision, what is the, basic crisis which leads to his indecision? What exactly, we described indecision, what is that indecision? He's not able to decide what to do. Sometimes, if you are not able to decide which way to go, no, you'll go crazy, you'll go mad. So what was that situation, that point at which ultimately Arjuna broke down and then he spoke 2.7? What is that?
No, Prabhuji, I don't know.
Anyone else? Anyone else knows or remembers? This is very important. Yes, Bir Krish Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, it was Kul Dharma versus Kshatriya Dharma. He was confused what to do.
Yeah, Dharma Sammuda Cheta, that is Kula Dharma.
Hmm.
But actually, before that, we discussed, why he felt that, in 2.6, what is his, uh, what is his feeling,
His feeling was like sin for killing of Guru and elders.
No, that
And
sin is not discussed there, frankly speaking. About winning and losing is spoken there.
he was not decisive of what is good or bad, whether victory or lose. He was
Ah, see,
which one is to
we
select. I
we
mean,
we, we went into a whole flow chart and explained that. Yes, Vinita Mataji. If you make your notes, then only you can clearly get
Hare
the answer.
Krishna,
Let us see.
Prabhuji. Dandavat
Yes.
Pranam.
Yeah.
I'll
Can you
try,
speak a little
Prabhuji.
loudly, please, Mataji?
Yeah. Is
Yeah.
it that he was entangled with the Kshatriya Dharma, that if he gives up and takes to begging, this will also incur to sin? And if he kills, all will die. It's as good as losing.
Ah, yes, yes,
If he
yes. That's
wins,
our.
he will be killing everybody. It's as good as losing. And like
If he
he was
loses
in
also,
that.
that's also bad.
Yeah, that's also bad. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had, I'd explained that indecision. What was that indecision? And of course, I did not have the chart here. Here I had explained. See, if he fights, he wins. He's killing all of them. It's as good as losing, and there is
Losing.
sin. If he
Yes.
loses, that's also very bad. So it's a lose-lose situation, and he cannot give up his Kshatriya Karma. That will also lead to sin. So
Hmm.
here, Arjuna's perplexity: fight, not fight. If he not fights, begging. Victory is also defeat. Defeat, that is also defeat. So you see, this was the perplexity of Arjuna. Prabhupada mentions about perplexity in his purport,
Yes.
that we are always put in these perplexities, he mentions. That was a term I should have used, perplexity. So now, what was a lose-lose situation? You can see here, lose-lose situation for Arjuna. Krishna, just by the wisdom of karma kanda, he has turned it into a win-win situation. That lose-lose situation, Krishna has completely turned it into a win-win situation because he says, Hatova prapsasi swargam. You'll attain swarga. That is also like victory, much higher victory, losing also. And if you win, you get mahim, earth. That is also victory for him. And there is no question of sin that has been already addressed, because Kshatriya's dharma. In fact, by not taking part in the battlefield, he will be committing sin. So you can see how the wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita turns the lose-lose situation into a complete win-win situation. Then that too, this is Karma Kanda section, you know. So this is the point I just wanted to make. In this battle, my victory is not even certain. So this is what is in his indication. Krishna is saying, therefore, why should you encourage this war? He answers in this verse. So that is very clear. Now, this is a transition verse because in the previous verse, Yuddhaya Krita Nishchaya, the motivation was for enjoyment. But here he says, ah, just fight for the sake of fighting and don't be worried about the results. Labha, labha, jaya, jayo. Maintain equanimity because this is next section which is Nishkama Karma. So this is like a precursor to that. So this is a very important verse. Sukhe, sukha, dukkhe, same kritva, labha, labho, jaya, jayo, tato yudhyaya yuddhasva, naivam papam avapsasi. Being equal in happiness and distress, sukha, dukkhe, samay kritva, in gain or loss, labha, alabha, in victory or defeat, jaya, ajayo. Here, you can see just one verse before, you fight, you will attain, if you die, you will get swarga, and if you win, you will attain mahim, earth. And that's why, uttishta, get up and fight. But here now he's taking it to another level, a completely different. Tato yudhyaya yudhasva. Engage in the battlefield. You will not incur any sin. Na evam papam avapsasi. In all ways, your fighting is an act of dharma. Tato yudhaya yudhasva. If you fear that it will produce sin, I have shown you that it will not be the cause of sin. That he has shown in this section only. We saw that. That Kshatriya dharma, if he fights, then there is no question of sin. In fact, by not engaging in a dharma of yuddha, he'll be hitva papam avapsasi. Therefore, fight. The Lord gives this instruction in this verse. Being equal in happiness and distress, which are caused by gain and loss. So when you get gain, you become happy. When you lose, you become distress, such as gain and loss of kingdom, which are in turn caused by victory and defeat in the war. So gain of kingdom is because of victory, loss of kingdom is because of defeat. understanding that both results are equal through a discerning mind. Equipped with that knowledge, you will not incur sin at all. So here you can see, you know, be, understanding that both results are equal through discerning mind. So this is jnana. And equipped with this jnana, you will not incur sin at all. So this is another level altogether Krishna is speaking. And you know, he Vishwanath Chakravarti quotes, it will also be stated, Lipyatena sapapena padma patram vivambapsi. One is not touched by sin as a lotus leaf is not touched by water. 5.10 he quotes. Okay, Bhaktivinoda Thakur doesn't have a commentary on this verse. So now we are going to go through a very, very important section. And this section is the most important section here in the second chapter. The characteristics of Sthita Prajna is also important, but this will be Nishkama Karma Yoga. Second application of Amadgan. Fight with detachment, then no sinful reactions. Counters Arjuna's enjoyment argument. No? There is no sinful reaction. So he was worried about sin. There is no question of sin, he says. So this is a very important section. And this is a very critical verse. 2.39, is a very important verse for us to understand because many new terms are introduced here. Esha te abhita sanke buddhiryoge tva imam shunu buddhya yukto yaya partha karma bandham prahasasi. I have taught you understanding necessary for the process of jnana. Esha te abhita sanke. So Krishna has taught the process of jnana. Esha te abhita sanke. Now, which is he referring to? Which verses? Where Krishna has taught Sankhya? Anyone knows? Raise your hands. Think about it carefully. Esha te abhita Sankhya, where Krishna has spoken about. Yes, Bir Krish Prabhuji. Yeah, I've unmuted him.
Prabhu, it's the section which is dealing with the science of the soul.
Which verses to which verses?
Exactly from 2.16 to 2.16 to 2. It's 2.30, I guess 30.
Yeah, it's not 16, 2.12 onwards. Yeah. Because there also analysis between body and spirit is there in 2.13 and all. So it is 2.12 to 2.30. So this is Gyan. This is what is called as Sankhya. Esha te avita Sankhya. So first time Krishna has used this word Sankhya, and we'll see this term Sankhya. Now hear about understanding necessary for the process of bhakti. Buddhi yoge tva imam shunu. Now, Vishnu Chakra Thakur translates this as this Buddhi Yoga as Bhakti Yoga. So this is a new term again. Sankhya is one term which is new introduced here. And then Buddhi Yoga. What is this Buddhi Yoga? We have never heard about this Buddhi Yoga, And now Buddhi Yoga is mentioned as Bhakti Yoga. And there is another term, Karma. The Yoga is also one more term. And then there is Karma. So there are 4 new terms used here. And we need to understand terminology and their definitions. Then only we can understand the Bhagavad Gita nicely. So now hear about understanding necessary for the process of bhakti. Buddhi yoge to imam shunu. By engaging your intelligence in this way, yaya buddhya yukta. So here buddhi is now intelligence is mentioned. Buddhya. Buddhi and buddhya is same, it's a different derivative, that's it. O son of Prata, Partha, you will become free from the bondage of karma. Karma bandham prahasasi. So, in Sanskrit, English doesn't have many, facets to every word, has different meanings. English has a lot of limitations, but in Sanskrit, words have multivalent meanings. They are called as multivalent words. That means many meanings of one word can be there. And depending on the context, the meaning will change. So here, Sankhya can refer to the system of philosophy. Like there is the Kapila Sankhya, Kapila Sankhya in the Srimad Bhagavatam 3.25 to 33. But of course, it is mostly in the Gyan Yoga section, that is 26 and 27. Then there is the atheistic Kapila Sankhya. There's also Sankhya. And then there is also the Sankhya, which is analysis of matter and spirit. So here Krishna is not referring to definitely the atheistic Sankhya, because why would Krishna refer such atheistic philosophy? And not even the Kapila Sankhya. Prabhupada's purport again is a brilliant purport, and Baldev Vidyabhushan's, but again we'll not go through that. But here is just referring to analysis between matter and spirit, which he has done from 2.12 to 2.30. This is first thing to understand. Now, yoga is a system of philosophy. There is the Patanjali Yoga, the Ashtang Yoga, the Gyan Yoga, the Karma Yoga. But here, yoga means practice for gaining realization of Atma, sadhana bhakti, practice for realizing Bhagavan. So, yoga has these two meanings here, and both the meanings are applicable. And when we come to the purport, we will understand how yoga can refer to Nishkama Karma Yoga or Bhakti Yoga also. Bhakti Yoga and sadhana practice is also Bhakti Yoga. And karma can have four different meanings. Karma can mean action in general. Karma can mean reaction. Mere karm bahut bure hai. Sometimes if somebody says na, that means he's referring to that reaction for his actions. And then karma can mean system of action and reaction. That is, the law of karma is very stringent. When you say, we are referring to the system of action and reaction. And then sukarma, the pious actions which are there in the Vedas, that also refers to karma. So here karma is just action. And buddhi is a subtle material element or the faculty of intelligence. So here buddhi has been used as the faculty of intelligence. That is the meaning here. So I hope you are very clear with all these four meanings used in this verse. From this translation also it becomes very clear. Intelligence, buddhi is mentioned, Karma is, karma mandam prahasasi, So karma bandhanam is completely lost, Now let us come to Buddhi Yoga. What is Buddhi Yoga? Buddhi Yoga is a stretchable term that literally means connection through intelligence. Practically it means what? Karma Yoga. Buddhi, Atma Gyan or Nishkam Karma Yoga in chapter 2. In chapter 10, 10.10, it is Bhakti Yoga. Tesham satati yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvam dadami buddhi yogam tam. Buddhi Yoga is there. That is Bhakti Yoga directly. Buddhi means Bhagavad Gyan. And in the 18th chapter also he uses this. So Buddhi Yoga, there is no yoga specifically called as Buddhi Yoga. But it is a stretchable term. It can refer to Nishkama Karma Yoga, where there is first realization of Atma. Atma Gyan is there through Nishkam Karma Yoga. It can refer to Bhakti Yoga. It can also refer to Gyan Yoga. Analysis of matter and spirit to realize Brahman. But of course, here, in the Bhagavad Gita, mostly deal with this more, and not as a, not so much as Gyan Yoga. It is not used so much as Gyan Yoga. Of course, Nishkam Karma Yoga later on will lead to Gyan Yoga. That is there. But here I just want to mention that it is basically these two terms. It's a stretchable term. That's what is Buddhi Yoga. Now, Again, I have put here, this is the soul, this is the subtle body, this is gross body. Now, buddhi is the intelligence which is there in the subtle body. And, you know, when the intelligence is used to realize the self, the intelligence used to realize self. How? Buddhi through Nishkam Karma Yoga. So then it is also Buddhi Yoga. And when the intelligence is used to realize Krishna, understand Bhagavad Gyan, then it is Bhakti Yoga. So like that, Buddhi Yoga is such a stretchable term. Okay. So now regarding these terminologies, if you have any questions, you can raise your hand so that before we go into the purport, because today I think the whole class will go into this and the next purport, maybe probably. I'm going slow from here onwards because this is the foundation for understanding the entire 6 chapters. So if you have any doubts, you can raise your hands. Yeah, Vinita Mataji. Yeah. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, uh, can you please define Sankhya Yoga, like in simple words?
See, there is, first of all, you have to understand what is Sankhya. There is a Sankhya system of philosophy. In the Shad Darshan, there is Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Sankhya, and then there is Yoga, and then there is Purva Mimamsa and Uttar Mimamsa, Sankhya. So it's one of the darshans. And Sankhya is also a darshan, it's a system of philosophy. But here Krishna is using the term Sankhya, Esha te abhita Sankhya. Esha means I just now explained to you Sankhya. So Krishna is referring to analysis between matter and spirit. So that you have to clearly understand. Now, in the path of Gyan Yoga also, the initial path, actually sometimes it is called as Gyan Yoga or Sankhya Yoga also, because there is more of analysis of the 24 elements in order to become detached. And then there are practices of Gyan Sadhana in the Gyan Yoga. So then, the term is used a little different term. Then it is used as Gyan Yoga only. But initially, it can be used as Sankhya Yoga. So Sankhya Yoga is an interchangeable term and it depends on the context. Now, after explaining Sankhya Yoga, we are directly taking it up to Bhakti. Prabhupada, in his Bhagavad Gita lectures, he used to hammer, you're not this body, you're spirit soul. And how do you realize it? Just take up to hearing and chanting, practice of Bhakti. So that Sankhya leads to Bhakti. That's why you have to understand these terms based on the context. Esha te abhita Sankhya Buddhi Yoga. This Sankhya will lead to Bhakti Yoga. Or Sankhya can lead to Nishkam Karma Yoga. So here Vishwanath Chakravarti is translating Sankhya leading to Bhakti Yoga. And please see this chart very carefully. If analysis between matter and spirit is done and it is, you are using the intelligence to perform Nishkam Karma Yoga, you will first realize the self, then the super self, and then ultimately, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan, like that. So that is a, gradual thing. But if you use the intelligence indirectly to understand Bhagavan, Bhagavad Gyan, it is Bhakti Yoga. You're using the intelligence directly to connect to the Lord. It is Bhakti Yoga. So Sankhya, again, it can be used. Sankhya becomes the common denominator in one sense, whether it is for the practice of Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, or Bhakti Yoga.
Bhakti.
But in the path of Jnana Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga, it is the main, thrust is given. Here, once we, basic understanding we have this, then we give thrust on more on hearing and chanting and practicing the angas of bhakti so that, directly we can ultimately Brahman and Paramatma realizations are included in Bhagwan realization. So that's how we have to understand. I hope it is clear.
Yeah, then can I, just with your permission, can we say that Sankhya Yoga is philosophy of knowledge of material and matter and spirit? Sorry, not
Yeah,
matter
yeah.
and spirit.
It is a darshan of no, no.
Okay,
Sankhya means analysis between matter and spirit.
matter and spirit. Okay.
Sankhya is also, a darshan by which you analyze the 24 elements.
Mm.
No,
The
so that's
marginal
what
energy. That
the
is the
marginal
energy.
energy.
Analysis of the marginal energy.
No,
No?
it's not the analysis of the marginal energy. 24 elements are not marginal energy.
Okay.
24 elements are matter.
Matter.
Ultimately,
Okay.
to become detached from matter and connect to spirit,
Spirit. Okay.
Brahman. No,
Okay.
Brahman.
Now I got it. Now
If
I
it
got it.
is connecting to Vishnu, then it is Bhakti Yoga.
Yes, Prabhuji, I got it.
Yeah. Yes. Navneet Kalra Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji done, but could you please explain Buddhi Yoga? I didn't understand that.
Yeah, it's very important that this Buddhi Yoga term has to be clearly understood. Now, as I was mentioning that Esha te abhita sanke buddhi yoge to imam shuno buddhya yukto. So please see this translation. This is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's. Now, here about understanding necessary for the process of Bhakti Yoga. So Buddhi Yoga is referred as Bhakti Yoga. By engaging your intelligence in this way to understand Bhakti, then you will become free from karma bandhan. Because only by Bhakti you can become free from karma bandhan. So directly Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is here taking Buddhi Yoga as Bhakti Yoga. Now, as I was mentioning, there is no yoga called as a Buddhi Yoga, which we practice. But Buddhi Yoga, the term Buddhi is a stretchable term, which literally means connection through intelligence. Now, if the connection of the intelligence is to realize the self, intelligence used to realize the self, then Buddhi Yoga is, the term Nishkam Karma Yoga. And if the intelligence used to understand Bhagavad Gyan, intelligence is to realize Krishna, you are using that intelligence, then it is Bhakti Yoga. So Buddhi Yoga can be Bhakti Yoga or Nishkam Karma Yoga. It can even be Gyan Yoga, as I mentioned. I hope it is clear. Is it clear or no?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Is somewhat, sir. I need to contemplate a little more.
Yes, it will take time. In fact, one of my teachers told me, that 2.39 purport of Prabhupada, at least
Yeah,
25 times you should read. How
it's a
many
very
times?
big purport.
Yes. And you will get confused a lot. You'll have to break your head. At least 25
Yeah,
times you have to read
I, I,
Prabhupada.
I was reading it, but it's very hard.
Yeah. Actually, when we study Prabhupada's purport and Baldev Vidyabhushan's purport, we'll that time do that exercise. But I'm making things clear here also because Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is directly using. When Prabhupada also uses, Prabhupada, really makes you, the way he uses and puts the terminology so perfectly. It's one of the most brilliant purports, every purport is brilliant. In fact, I'll tell you in the Gita of Prabhupada, but that's one of the most brilliant purports to be contemplated upon. And yes, you have to contemplate. It will take some time to understand. No. But here you have to understand Buddhi Yoga is a stretchable term. It can mean intelligence used to realize bhakti or intelligence used to realize the self, then it will be Nishkam Karma Yoga. Okay. It's a stretchable
And
term.
Nish
That's it.
and Nishkam Karma Yoga can lead either to Gyan Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga, and
No,
both
no, no,
could
no. Don't
no.
go there now. Don't go there. When we
Okay,
come there, we'll explain you.
okay,
Just now, we go step by step.
okay,
How the
okay,
progression
sir.
happens, we will see in the Gita. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Bir Krish Prabhuji. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Pradhan.
Yeah.
Prabhu, here Buddhi Yoga we are taking as a I'm referring to Bhakti Yoga because here it is mentioned that karma bandham prahasisi. मतलब कि this is this
No,
is
this is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's translation. Baldev Vidyabhushan uses their Nishkam Karma Yoga, in fact. Because Nishkam Karma also, by Nishkam Karma Yoga, you become free from karma bandhan, frankly speaking. But please
but
understand, please understand that Vishwanath Chakra Thakur's approach to the Gita is that he is seeing everything from the perspective of, Bhakti Yoga.
Rasa.
Anya Bilashita Shunyam, Rup Goswami's, So based on his perspective, he's directly taking this and he will explain now in the next coming verses. Today, I think it will not be possible, but Monday, you'll have to, one purport is almost like 3-4 pages there. There, everything will become clear for you all, So Vishwanath
But
Chakravarti takes like this, whereas Baldev Vidyabhushan takes the explanation as Karma Yoga, because by performing Nishkam Karma Yoga, you become free from Karma Bandhan, frankly, because you become situated in the self and you're free from bondage in one sense. That's a gradual progression, but here directly he's taking it as Bhakti Yoga.
from the point of we say the karmani nirdhati kintu cha bhakti bhaja. So it is bhakti
Yeah,
only.
see, please understand, that ultimately, there is a progression happening in the Gita. From Nishkam Karma Yoga to Gyan Yoga to Ashtanga Yoga, and Krishna is going to establish highest as Bhakti Yoga. So there is a natural, progression which is there. So ultimately, Krishna is going to establish the highest yoga as Bhakti Yoga, but Karma Yoga ultimately will lead to Gyan Yoga. And Gyan Yoga should lead to Bhakti Yoga. Bahunam Janmanam te Gyanavan Mam Prapadente. Or Ashtanga Yoga will lead to a Bhakti Yoga because that is the highest Bhakti. Yogi Nam Api Sarveshanam Mad Gate Nantarvan. So what Krishna is doing is in the first 6 chapters of Karma Yoga, he is going through Nishkam Karma Yoga, which ultimately leads to Gyan Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga. Or Ashtanga Yoga, in fact. Not like it's necessary that you have to go through Gyan Yoga and then Ashtanga Yoga. Not like that. So when we go there, we'll explain more in detail. Is it
So
okay for now?
Niskam Karma Yoga also, it can, it can cut down this karma bandhan.
Yes, by Nishkam Karma Yoga, become detached, so you'll ultimately realize the self. And once you're self-realized, you're not bound. You know, you're not bound in this material world, no? Right? Yes or no?
Okay.
One who attains Atmagyan, Lipatena Papena Padma Patram Ivambasi is mentioned. That's why it's now a little difficult for you all to figure it out. You'll have to finish the first 6 chapters, then then the whole progression will become more and more clear.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
The 3rd chapter and the 5th chapter are the most difficult for us to understand. So we'll have to go through that and then slowly you'll start getting it more. It will become more and more clear. Okay.
Right. Well, thank you.
Okay. Let's go ahead. We have spent a lot of time. Okay, now let's see what Vishwanath Chakravarti has to say. In this verse, Krishna concludes the topic of Gyan Yoga, which he has just taught. So this is 2.12 to 2.30. Sankhya means that by which true knowledge of things, Vastu Tattvam, is perfectly revealed. Samyak Rupena Khyayate iti Sankhya. So this is how he says, true knowledge of things, Vastu Tattvam. In other words, Sankhya means the perfect process of knowing. The intelligence Esha to be implemented in that process has been explained. Now hear about the intelligence necessary to implement Bhakti Yoga, which will now be explained. So he directly takes now, Sankhya will directly lead to Bhakti Yoga. Endowed with this understanding concerning the subject of Bhakti Yoga, you will give up samsara, karma bandhan, praharsasi. Will become free from samsara. Ultimately, in one sense, you only become free from samsara by Bhakti Yoga. Okay, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written a nice commentary here. I have spoken about intelligence related to Sankhya Yoga or Jnana Yoga. So you see, he uses interchangeably. Sankhya can mean Gyan also, I mentioned that. Now hear from me intelligence related to Bhakti Yoga. So the Buddhi is a stretchable term. O Partha, name of Arjuna, upon being endowed with intelligence aimed towards devotion, bhakti, you will be able to cross the ocean of birth and death. I will explain to you how Buddhi Yoga, pure intelligence directed towards the attainment of the Lord, is one, but various stages of progression. Of course, the stages in Bhakti here is mentioning. When the intelligence is directed towards fruitive activities, it is called Karma Yoga. When it crosses the boundary of karma and enters the realm of Gyan, it is called Sankhya Yoga or Gyan Yoga. So again, these are interchangeable. In the initial path of Gyan Yoga, when there is analysis on the enumeration of elements, that path is called as Sankhya Yoga. And later on at a different level, it is called as Gyan Yoga. So they are both interchangeable. So when your intelligence is directed to, that give up the fruits, that is actually Nishkam Karma Yoga, then it is called as Karma Yoga. But when you cross the boundary of karma, no more, you have impetus to do karma because your chit is purified, then you enter into the realm of Gyan. Then it's called Gyan Yoga. Finally, when the intelligence crosses beyond both karma and Gyan and comes to the contact with Bhakti, it is called Bhakti Yoga or Vishuddha, complete Bhakti Yoga. Okay, so what is the time now? It's 8 o'clock. Okay, I will take this verse. I thought I will take this Monday, but I will take it now. And this is a long purport. We will hear this and try to understand this carefully. Neha Bikramana Shosti Pratyavayo na Vidyate Swalpamapyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bayat. In this process, now Buddhi Yoga here, according to Vishnu Chakrathakur, is Bhakti Yoga. So in the process of Bhakti Yoga, there is no loss by stopping without completion. Na Nashasti. No sin incurred by doing so. Pratyavayo na Vidyate. One is delivered from birth and death. Trayate Mahato Bayat, by practicing a little of this process. Salpam apyasya dharmasya. So he's directly here referring to Bhakti Yoga. Okay, now hear this commentary of Vishnu Chakra Thakur very, very carefully and try to understand. There are two types of yoga explained in this section of the chapter. Activities of bhakti, including hearing and chanting and other activities, and prescribed duties offered to the Lord without personal desire, Nishkama Karma Yoga, which is expressed later starting with the verse Karmanyeva Adhikaraste. So Nishkama Karma Yoga will be described from 2.47 onwards. But there are two types of yoga explained. One is Bhakti Yoga and Nishkam Karma Yoga. And Nishkam Karma Yoga is explained from 2.47. Before that, however, Bhakti is discussed because Bhakti alone and no other process is beyond the three modes. A person transcends the modes only by performing Nistraigunyo Bhava. Again, Vishwanath Chakra Thakur will mention this as, referring to Bhakti Yoga. This is how Vishwanath Chakra Thakur takes this word. So that's why he is referring that, indicates Bhakti only. The Nirgun nature of Bhakti is also well supported by the statements of the 11th canto of Bhagavatam. In fact, the Bhagavatam 11th canto deals with actually Nirgun Bhakti a lot. The confidential knowledge of Bhakti, which even Krishna could not give to Arjuna on the battlefield, he spoke to Uddhava. So he's more spoken about it. So he's directly referring to the 11th canto. Again, this is from a Gaudiya Vaishnava perspective. Otherwise, Baldev Vidyabhushan doesn't refer to any Bhagavatam, pramanas only. Gyan and Karma cannot be said to be Nistraigunya because of the presence of Sattva in Gyan and Rajas in Karma. Because there is presence of Rajas in Karma and Sattva in Gyan, so that's why it is not beyond the modes. Only Bhakti is beyond the modes, Nirguna Bhakti. And the Bhakti found in Karma Yoga in the form of offering one's prescribed actions to the Lord is present there just to make karma lose its uselessness and bear material fruits. So ultimately, even in Karma Yoga, Nishkam Karma Yoga means what? You do karma actions and you do it without desire for the fruits. Then only it is called as Nishkam Karma Yoga, without desire for fruits. And you offer the fruits to the Supreme. Then only it is Nishkam Karma Yoga. Sometimes we get confused. Sometimes, some people who get retired and they come and again serve the organization without taking any salary. They are nishkam, but they are attached to doing the work because they are addicted to work, you know. So they don't desire the fruits of the results. The fruits of the result is the salary. But because that work is not connected to Krishna based on Varnashram or based on whatever it is not considered as a yoga. Please remember. Only if that person who has that experience in particular field joins ISKCON and volunteers, like he's accountant and he uses his skills to work in the temple account department and he doesn't take salary, then actually he's performing in one sense Nishkam Karma Yoga. In that sense, I'm just giving an example. So bhakti is there within that. That's why it is called as Guni Bhuta Bhakti, because bhakti is secondary. And because karma on its own cannot give the fruits. It is the bhakti element which is present, which will give the fruits. The process of karma yoga does not have the designation of bhakti proper because predominance of bhakti is absent. There is no predominance of bhakti, So it is not, that is why it is called as karma yoga, nishkama karma yoga. It's called as not bhakti. So this is the statement. And if one considers karma offered to the Lord to be bhakti, then what would the designation karma refer to then? Karma is offered to the Lord to be bhakti, then what is the designation karma referring to? If one says that it refers to prescribed karma not offered to the Lord, na shobate jnanam alam niranjanam kutah punah shashvad abhadram ishvare na charpita karma yad apyakaranam. Even the stage of jnana without the bondage of karma, naishkarmyam jnana, is not glorious, na shobate, if it is devoid of bhakti to the Supreme Lord. Achyuta bhavavarjit. If what to speak of karma, even jnana, stage of jnana, if there is no bhakti in it, it is, it's not na shobate. Kuta puna. What is the use of having destroyed ignorance? Alam niranjanam. What then to speak of sakam karma? Sakam karma which causes suffering both during practice and at the stage of pursuit. Kuta puna shashvada badram. And nishkam karma. Yad akaranam karma. Akaranam karma here refers to nishkam karma. Will not offered to the Lord. Ishvara na charpitam. So here he is saying that prescribed karma not offered to the Lord. When prescribed karma is not offered, it is completely useless. There is no question. There has to be. If it is not offered to the Lord, then it is of no use. This statement indicates that karma devoid of the Lord is completely useless. Even if it is what? Nishkam. This is the point. Therefore, in this verse and in the verses till verse 45, bhakti characterized only by hearing, chanting, and other devotional acts, practiced only to attain the sweetness of the Lord's lotus feet, is being described. So, Vishwanath Chakra Thakur takes a completely a different angle and he says that from 2.39, 40, 41, and 45, 42 and 43 are different verses. 43, 42, 43, and 44. See, he's saying directly Krishna is glorifying bhakti, which includes hearing and chanting. Nishkama Karma Yoga will also be described. Both of these are indicated by the word Buddhi Yoga mentioned in the verse 39. So, by the term Buddhi Yoga, Nishkama Karma Yoga is also mentioned and Bhakti Yoga also. Nishkama Karma Yoga is dealt in 2.47 verse and Bhakti Yoga, again I'll make the point. So this Buddhi Yoga, which was used in 2.39, is Nishkama Karma Yoga, which will be discussed in 2.47. And it is Bhakti Yoga, Nirgun Bhakti Yoga in one sense, which is discussed here from 2.47. 40 to 45. Okay, nonsense. The phrase Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yena Mamapayante Te, Bhagavad Gita 10.10, the word Buddhi Yoga indicates Bhakti Yoga. And in the phrase Durena Hi Varam Karma Buddhi Yoga Dhananjaya, the word Buddhi Yoga indicates Nishkam Karma Yoga. So you can see how, Buddhi Yoga can refer to Nishkam Karma Yoga and Buddhi Yoga can refer to Bhakti Yoga directly. Thus, this present verse is a glorification of the process of bhakti with hearing and chanting, which is beyond the modes of nature. Now, please mark this very carefully. It's a direct glorification of the process of bhakti yoga, which is beyond the modes of nature. Nirgun bhakti, please remember. You have to be transcendental. Ata nirgun shravan kirtanadi bhakti yogasya mahatmyam aha neha iti. Here in this present verse, it is Nirguna Bhakti, Nirguna Shravan Kirtan, Bhakti Yoga se Mahatma. Okay. In Bhakti Yoga, now here Bhakti Yoga means now you have to always take it as Nirguna, transcendental. There is no destruction, Nasha, and also there is no sin incurred, Pratyavaya. If the practice has just begun, Abhikrama and then stopped. If it is begun and stopped. If Karma Yoga, however, now because Bhakti Yoga is the topmost process, Vishnu Chakra Thakur is explaining how Bhakti Yoga is superior to Karma Yoga. And here Karma's fault is what? If Karma Yoga, however, is begun and then stopped, there is both destruction of the fruits of Karma Yoga and sinful reaction as well for the performer. So, any yagya, you perform any yagya, it has to be perfectly complete from starting to end. Then only it will bear the result. Of course, then you might not take the results and you can offer it to the Lord. You can be Nishkam. That is, then it is. And another thing is, if it is incomplete, first of all, there is no result, even if it is 99%. And second thing is, there will be sin for not completing it. The Mimamsa says that if actions are not completed, they bear no result. Further, sin is incurred for not completing the act. But then, by non-performance of bhakti, which he is supposed to do, the aspiring practitioners also should not get any results. Is it so? See the glory of bhakti. Whatever little bhakti was there in the initial practice, Swalpam apyasya dharmasya, even that small amount will certainly deliver him from the bondage of samsar, mahato bhayat. See how Vishnu Chakra brings the glory of bhakti. Even a little bhakti you perform, and by that little bhakti, you can be delivered from samsar. That means you practice bhakti only 1%, and by that you get 100% result and you'll be delivered. And in karma yoga, perform 99% and then 1% you don't do, you get no result and then sin. This is the glory of bhakti. Any example, whatever little bhakti was then in the initial practice, even a small amount will certainly deliver him from the bondage of samsara. Anyone knows? Any example you can give? Bir Krish Prabhuji, yes? Yeah.
It's Ajamil.
Jamil, classic example. Jamil performed a little bhakti and once he took the name of Narayan and he was saved. This is understood from such verses as the following: Yan nama sakrad shravanat pukkashwapi vimuchate samsarad. Merely by chanting the holy name of your lordship only once, yan nama sakrad shravanat. Even Chandala men of the lowest class, pukkashapi, are freed from all material contamination. This is from the 6th canto. And it's also seen in the example of Ajamil and others. One can see that the following statement by the Lord has the same meaning. Nahi angopakrame dvamso mad dharmasya uddavanya api mavya vyavastita samyan nirgunatvad anashisha. My dear Uddhava, Anga Uddhava, Because I have personally established it, Maya Samyak Vyavasthita, this process of devotional service unto me, Mad Dharmasya, is transcendental and free from any material motivation. Nirgunatvad Ana Shishya. Certainly, a devotee never suffers. Na hi anu api dhvamsa, even the slightest loss by adopting this process. Upakrame. In the Bhagavatam verse quoted above, Krishna also shows the cause of indestructibility of bhakti. Bhakti is never destroyed once it is begun, and it will take you to perfection. As it is beyond the gunas, it can be never destroyed. The same reasoning should be applied in the present Gita verse. That is 2.40. One cannot say, however, that Nishkam Karma ho gaya, even by being offered to the Lord, is beyond the modes of nature, for it is stated, Madarpanam Nishphalam va Satvikam Nija Karma Tat. Were performed as an offering to me, Nija Karma Madarpanam, without consideration of the food, Nishphalam va is considered to be in the mode of goodness. So, Nishkam Karma Yoga is at best in the mode of goodness, Tat Satvam, but Bhakti is Nirguna. This verse indicates that Nishkam Karma Yoga, even by the power of being offered to the Lord, is in the material mode of Sattva and therefore subject to destruction. Okay, so any questions you have on this now? You can raise your hands. I wanted to complete only till here today also, but anything which was not clear, because this verse is very crucial and important for us to understand. Yes, Bir Krish Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dhanvat.
Yeah.
Just two clarification, Prabhu. First is कि we understand कि since bhakti is beyond the three modes, so it has to, I mean, whatever result is there, it cannot be destroyed from that principle.
Yeah, correct.
And that's correct principle, no, Prabhu. And Prabhu, second
Yeah.
time, second Prabhu, just, I mean, for understanding, sometimes, we understand theoretically कि yes, bhakti is so glorious, but sometimes in mind it appears as if it is being exaggerated. So how do we come out of this mentality? It is again offense actually.
It is an offense. Arthavad, it
Yes.
is called. Not understanding that glory of bhakti. Vishwanath Chakravarti in the Madhurya Kanam, he takes a heavy dig on this. He takes a heavy dig on even in the sixth canto Ajamil section that when we understand that just by performing this one little act of bhakti, you can be liberated for samsara, you cannot believe it. Oh, this is exertion. Then you commit the offense of artha. That's why the practice of your bhakti doesn't give the results because of your offenses. So that's
Yes, yes.
why as your development of Shraddha happens and the more you understand Shastra and the Tattva of the Shastra, then you understand that this how glorious is bhakti, then the more impelled you will be able to practice knowing the glory of the process. And that's why Vishwanath Chakravarti is bringing the glory of practice of bhakti here completely in this purport. Okay?
Right, right. Thank you.
Yeah, Navneet Kalra Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Bhakti mentioned here is Uttam Bhakti.
Yes, Bhakti mentioned is Nirguna Bhakti or Uttama Bhakti or Akinchana Bhakti or Kevala Bhakti or Shuddha Bhakti or uh, uh, yeah, these are the different terms. Kevala, Ananya
But,
Bhakti, as Krishna
but
uses in the term. Yeah.
right now, as a sadhaka, our bhakti is not at that stage.
Yeah, we have to understand that also. Only when we come to the Nirgun stage, then
Then the
that should.
results are not lost. But before that,
Well, now again, for a kind information, now if you study the whole commentary of Baldev Vidyabhushan,
yeah.
uh, he, he takes this verse as Nishkam Karma Yoga. Neha Bhikramanashasi. Because whatever you do, Nishkam Karma Yoga in this life, you will continue also in the next life also, you're practicing until you become a Sita Pragya. So, but Vishwanath Chakravarti is taking a different angle in order to bring out the glories of bhakti. That's why he is completely negating karma here. But whether you practice Nishkam Karma Yoga, Gyan Yoga, or Ashtanga Yoga, in fact, whatever you have practiced in the previous life, Gyan Yoga, from there only you continue ahead for your current information. Okay. But here, because he's bringing out the glory of bhakti, that's why he is focusing there. Now, if somebody even is practicing mixed bhakti, he is making progress. And then with that purification happening in this life, in the next life, he'll continue further and he'll make further advancement. And then, once his chit is purified and he takes up to Shuddha Bhakti and by that attains Sadhya, then he'll go back to Godhead. You have to understand like that. Okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Clear,
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah.
You're not, you're happy with the
It's
answer
not
or
that
you
I'm
are,
not convinced. It's not that. It's just that I'm just thinking right now, like practically, I should not be thinking so much, and just that I do that I when I'm chanting, more or less, like it's improving for me. But
you
there
have
is
to
so much
understand
to
the practice.
understand. It's very overwhelming right now.
Yes, yes, yes. But the more you understand the bhakti literatures, and then with that understanding, you do the practices, then you'll be more focused in the practices because you understand this
Yes.
is the glory of bhakti. I was just mentioning this point that actually bhakti means turning our consciousness towards Krishna. We have turned away from Krishna, Bhagavat Vimukh hua hai, and now we are becoming Unmukh. Unmukh means facing towards the Lord. We have turned towards the Lord now. And now that means we are regarding the Lord, regarding His deity, regarding His holy name. But while giving regard, if we disregard, that means we commit Namaprad, Vaishnavarad, then
Yeah.
those become an obstacle in attaining our bhakti. So that's why we should be very careful.
Yeah.
So the more
It,
you understand the
mm,
glories of bhakti, the more seriously you will take up to the practices.
Prabhuji, it's very subtle process because we are unlearning whatever we had learned.
Yes, 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 that's true.
So that also plays on your mind, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And since like you are in this material universe, everybody in your even in your immediate family is not there. So you're somewhat alone in the journey also.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Krishna
yeah.
is there with us. We have to
Yeah.
understand.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you for so much time you take out for clearing our doubts. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Prabhuji, a lot.
Any other questions anyone else has? I hope this purport was clear. This is very, very important purport for us to understand all other things which will come up till verse number 53. Okay, so we'll stop here and we'll continue discussion next Monday. Granthra Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.